Alrighty, we are live and my fan is way too high. Whoops. Okay, let's get started. New project, new motivation. This time will be better, knock on wood. Alrighty. Hello. So we are at the end of Global Hack Week and we are gonna pretty much steamroll through 3 parts this weekend. Oh, we have a new feature now, stream elements. Cool. All right. So for the last few days, we've been working on Shark Tracker. Emphasis on debugging and not on working, but that's okay. So I made some adjustments, cleaned up the UI, and committed that. And then I've spent the rest of today prepping what we'll be doing today so that we have a better experience. Alrighty, let me go ahead and pull up my screen. But how has Global Hack Week been? I mean, we're almost at the end, so last push. Any fun streams that you've had since last time I've seen everybody? You do not have to say mine because mine was not fun. It was not fun. See, is that everything? Yeah. Lots and lots of things going on. Yeah. Nothing from chat. Y'all thinking. Or maybe nothing has been fun so far and everyone's been on the struggle bus. Dimmer stream as always. Dimmer knows how to make a fun stream, even when things are not going as intended or planned, which I have mad respect for. Dimmer's also just fun to be on stream with. Super good. Cool. Well, seems like it'll be a quiet afternoon since chat is kind of quiet. No. You missed nothing. We debugged for so long. So very long. And then I cut stream short because I was like, this is ridiculous. We should not be having this many issues. And I was getting frustrated. Which does happen. Like sometimes code just doesn't work out. But I'm really hoping that this will actually be much better. I'm not jinxing it by saying everything is going to go great, grand, wonderful, because it's not. That's not how programming works anyway. I'm not a genius. So this time will be better because I am accomplishing a little less. I did some pre-work. So let me go ahead and pull that up for everybody too. And also let me send the check-in link. So check in first, then GitHub, in case anybody wants to grab stuff from that. We can now pull that up. Made more commits. So this is our boilerplate for the next 2 days because we got 3 streams to get through and at least something to potentially be done because I actually want to use this so that way traveling is not a nightmare. Now, as I mentioned in the last few streams, if you were there, that I wanted to make a travel dashboard that would have things like the weather for the place that I'm going to, my reservations for like the hotel, flight, rental car, all that kind of stuff. And then also be able to like maybe pull my address book, tell me, hey, is there anybody in the area that I'm going to? Maybe I can ping them and meet up with them. Or like just other different APIs that we can pull from to make this a really nice dashboard that shows us all the possible information we could possibly need to travel. I am an anxious planner and I have a million backup plans all the time, every time. And you can talk to at least like a few MLHers who like know me and they'll probably be like, yeah, Celia has too many plans. Which is sometimes a good thing, which is what happened this past weekend where my flight got canceled and then my flight got delayed. And then I had to run from my flight that would land and be at the next flight that was about to close their doors in 15 minutes. I did, in fact, have to run. I made it in 10 minutes, only to find out they had an extra 10-minute delay, and it was fine, but it was still very stressful. As it turns out, I wasn't even on the plane, apparently, so that had to get fixed. Fun stuff. Yeah, I don't want to do that again because I spent the 4 hours in the airport waiting while I was delayed, trying to figure out, will I make this flight and what are my alternatives? And I opened many tabs and drained a lot of my phone battery. I don't want to do that. So this is in an effort to solve that. Hence the I made a project out of spite. Plans are indeed good. I funnily, that is indeed what some people told me when I was texting them Sunday night about the things going on. And I was like, here's all my backup plans. And they're like, good. Are you okay? The answer was no. But yes, it's okay. I'm very impressed you woke up at 5:30. Oh, you haven't slept. Please go to sleep. You can watch this later. I promise you that you will miss nothing because chances are we're going to have some weird error that's like super simple that is annoyingly fixed. But let's get started. I did not share GitHub yet. No, I did share it. Okay, good. So, like I said, there's some boilerplate. Let me walk you through that super fast. So this is picking up from where we kind of left off with Shark Tracker. I learned about Flask and Jinja 2, even though I kind of had some past experience. Now I really dug into it. And so I now have better experience with Jinja and Flask. And as a result, we now have a relatively functioning website, which I have on one of these tabs. I have so many tabs open. I've been working on so many different things. So here we have our blank page, which is not running because I didn't run the Visual Studio Code thing. Hang on. Run without debugging. No module.env. That's because I made changes because I was a derp. This is why you're not allowed to make changes before you do things, because things will automatically break. Try again. There we go. Okay. Right, so we have a pretty dashboard now. I pulled from 2 tutorials, one of them that we were using for Shark Tracker just to get like a functioning database, SQLite stuff in the background. And then I also pulled from some tutorials on like creating a nice little dash, and then made my own little spin on some things, of some basics that we might need for our dashboard. Let me also zoom in. And this is using Bootstrap. I have stopped saying I don't use things that are already created because I want to know how they work, but the reality is they were taking too much time. So I've been fiddling around making some stuff, and so I'm pulling from like a blog post creator and then readapting it to our dashboard because it'll have a lot of the pieces that we already going to need, which is to say, like, what if you're traveling a lot? What if you're traveling from a bunch of different ways, like flights, boats, trains, cars, other forms of travel that I'm not aware of? Did I say boats? Boats are a thing. But yeah, I wanted to be able to make edits to things. So this already works, pulls from the database. So all that stuff is working. Unlike Shark Tracker. Can you tell I'm still salty about that? Because I am. And like I said, I made my own little spin on some things just to expand on some stuff because it is using jQuery on some of the HTML. But what we're really going to do now, / for today, my hope is that we would play with the weather API because that's like one of the first things I check. When I'm about to travel, I'm like, okay, what's the weather the day I leave from the airport that I'm leaving from? Because here where I live, it's either ridiculously hot or very pleasant. And then if I'm going to another place that's like very cold, my airport is way too warm when it's cold out, which sucks. So I have to dress not for the weather outside of my airport, but for the like warmth inside my home airport. And then when I get there, I have to change or like add on like layers or remove layers depending on where I'm going. So I want to be prepared for that. And then of course I will want to know for the duration of my trip, give or take, what's the weather going to be like? Will I need an umbrella? Will I need, a hat? Will I need sunscreen? Will I need boots for like snow or something? All very important things. All things that I end up going and Googling. Things like, what's the weather like? What's the weather in June in XYZ place? What's the recommended things to wear? Obviously, there's no API for what you can wear, but there is APIs for weather, and that's something we can control. So I went ahead and I already signed up for AccuWeather's API. And I've been pulling some information from just like a tutorial because it looks like they were like, hey, you need to use the locations API if you want to use anything past that. So as you can see from the diagram, they're like, okay, we use the locations API, figure out where you are, the longitude, latitude, postal code, all that jazz. Then based on that, then you can go ahead and you can continue through the flowchart and you can pull information like the geoposition, you can use the postal code or the city name. So you can find all these things from what you have. Then once you get the location key in some way, whether it's the city or the postal code, then you can use any of their other APIs. And we are not using the Minutecast API one just because I'm like, I prefer like in the moment what I'm going to need. 20-ish, yeah. Yeah, that's here. Here we get up to 40C in the summer. I would like to leave this state. Anyway, here in the US, weather changes from place to place, and I experience a lot of different weather at any given instance. Okay, but like I was saying, I need a location key in order to access any of the other APIs. And we'll probably be using the forecast API, but I do still want to figure out, like, is there a chance I might want any of the other APIs in addition to the forecast to like flesh out our dashboard of things that we actually want to see? Because it could be that maybe it's an optional feature that like we could turn on in our settings. So rather than just directly integrate it into the app that I've already put together, we're being smart humans and not breaking the thing that works. And we're just using a sample API just to be like, can we at least get something working? Can we do something? If so, then we can start porting things over, adding libraries in one by one, and not having to debug as much because we're not trying to do too much. I've learned my lesson. Is that not obvious? I hope it is. So it looks like you can take you can get different levels of forecast. So like 1-day forecast, 5-day forecast, 10-day forecast. I want a 10-day forecast because depending on my trip, it may vary. So let's say I'm going on an arbitrary trip. I actually am going to the other side of the US in a couple of weeks, and that'll be about 3 days. So in that sense, it would make more sense to use the 5-day forecast. And so I've, like I said, pulled from a number of, oops, that's not what I wanted. I need to zoom in. There we go. Developing like this is really hard, by the way. I know you only like want to read it, but I hate this because it's so crowded on screen. It drives me nuts. I also need to go pull up the old code for Shark Tracker really quick so that way I can see what I was doing. Because I made adjustments and now I don't remember what I did. Python app. Edit with Notepad. Oh god. We didn't want that. Okay. Okay. Ready. I just do that, that. All right. So this is all we really need. We don't need what I was copy pasting from elsewhere. Dot end. Actually, this should be here. Hang on. What did I do? Okay, we have end file, find, load. Okay, it's loaded. Then what? Oh, I see. Is this going to be loaded into end file? So I prepared up to that point. And then, as you can see, we're starting to get into, okay, but this works. Don't yell at me like that. Shame on you. It should just be end, because if it's loaded, oh, I'll just put it on a function for the other thing. End is not defined. Of course it is. Why do you hate me? Okay. Oh, what's going on? As you can tell, I don't often use .env. Yeah, I could definitely change the sidebar, but I also need access to like my files quickly. Oh, my cat is doing dumb things. Oh no. You know what? If I don't see it, it didn't happen. If I don't see it, it doesn't happen. Please don't do that. I'm gonna pause for a second to go move my cat really quick. Cool. Cat solved. Peanut had to be removed from the premises because she was going to launch herself into my closet, and that was going to be very, very bad. Okay. On to what we were doing, which was, let's go make sure that this works. Python API.py. Let's just see what happened. Yeah, no module. Need to open conda. Pip install.env. Don't forget to upload this to GitHub. Yes, so this is actually already on GitHub. All of the boilerplate is there. Let me go pull up the GitHub link. So this one. So if you go there, it'll have all the boilerplate. And then it did not like .env. We didn't even start. We didn't even. We didn't even make it to do anything. Is it supposed to be python-dash.env? Yeah. Can you tell I'm a little bit like traumatized from the other streams? Hey, there we go. Okay. And then for me, so I'm not just listening to silence. Background music for me. Cool. All right. Try again. Python API.py. And not defined. Thank you. So why does it work in Shark Tracker? Why does it work there? Actually. But oh, that's it. That's the missing piece. All right. Let's. All right, nothing printed because we didn't call any of the functions. All right, but we're getting there. Cool. So I want to print get forecast from get location. And we're passing in country code, API, city. All that should be fine. Let's see. All right, let's run that again. So for those that just joined, we're fiddling around with the AccuWeather API, mostly because I want to see what we can't return characters. What return characters could you possibly have? Country code search API key. NQ city doesn't have. Oh, did I do something on env? Right. We were playing around with. That's not it. With the weather API because I want to start getting an idea of what forecasts I might want and any other information. But in order to use the API, we need to get the location first. So I put in an arbitrary place, US, New York City, classic. I will be going there eventually. But why are you freaking out? Where is it that it found this? It found it in. Nice. I love how it's showing my API key. That's terrible. I'll just delete the app after this session. Get your own API keys. They're free, so as long as you're not overusing it, you're fine. But not to be, I don't trust other humans, but I don't trust other humans. So it seems like it. Well, if we're gonna fiddle with it, can't contain return characters. Oh, that might be a problem. Should hand. Yeah, it found the space. Let's try that. And if not, we're gonna have to go. Yeah, okay. Find a different city that has one thing. What's a single city that I can't think of a single word city right now. that Sacramento. I don't think I spelled Sacramento right. Sacramento. Okay, I did. I really panicked there. Let's try that again. There we go. All right, so I didn't like New York City. We'll have to figure out what's up. But it is giving us plenty of information. So let's go ahead and parse that out. There are like libraries that you can download or like extensions and things that'll like pretty parse this, which I have on my laptop. Don't have on my desktop. But let's not print out that. Shame on me for not reading that they were going to print that out. And then print data. My cat was only in here for all day, and I have so much of her hair in my mouth somehow. Oh, I see. So that's already parsed out for us. We should transform that date and give it a space. Python library about date and formatting. Just because I don't like reading timestamps, but it is March 8th, 2023 at 7 in the morning. What looks to be 7. Just 7 question mark? But it looks really nice and cozy there. So we'll probably want to render this, not like that. Day forecast, partly sunny. And then it has none. Where did none come from? We have the data, weather forecast. Let's isolate that. I'm curious as to why we have none. Okay, so we have forecast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's the length for key in one data? Length. Oh, print. I'm gonna need that. Daily forecast. I just want to see. Maybe we're getting an extra object that we don't want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope. Oh, it's happening after. There's no. Oh, it's because there's no return. I should fix it. I know I'm being pedantic, but I do want to understand like what. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So was that I was calling a print function on a function that didn't return anything. Derp. That makes sense though. Alrighty. So we have some information already. And I like it. We'll definitely be keeping forecasts and then just porting that over into our project. But there is more to the weather API, which is so we just used the forecast API, and now there's current condition, indices, and weather alarms. So, and we're not using the Minutecast one just because I didn't want to. / it's another service. So let's go take a look. So we already have locations, and I also have this tab, which has all the different types of daily forecasts we can get. So we got 1, 10, 15, and 5. That should be in order. That's annoying. We can also get hourly, which is pretty neat. So maybe that's something that we consider in our project, that as we get closer to a travel date, that maybe instead of calling the ahead of time, like we only want a specific forecast like 10 days in advance. Now that we're a day ahead, we want the day ahead forecast rather than 10 days. So depending on how far away something is would determine which API call we might make. And so that's something that I'm going to go make a note of that we can come back to at a later point. And we can close that one because we don't need it anymore. I was making some notes on some other APIs that we could use for flight stuff while I was Googling stuff earlier, but to do... Oh, wait, I have a document for this. Why am I doing this to myself? When in doubt, keep everything in the same place that we can reference. Ah, yes, and then we have... Let me make that 150, change this zoom so I can actually read and not be overwhelmed. Yeah, so I want lots of things. But if there's any chats anything that you might want in a weather dashboard, or not a weather dashboard, a travel dashboard, please let me know in chat, because then we can go spend some time looking up what we could possibly use. No. Oh, great. Well, that's good to know. That's fine. We have what we want. So as far as features, that was before I decided that we're going to make our life easier. So we might have a design, we might not. There might not be a need to, but let's go paste all these notes about APIs. And then as for to do, forecast API call changes based on how close the trip is. Forecast on last day versus. A shame I can't get date ranges, but more than 20 days away. Can't make forecast for a trip. All right, that's good to know, because we'll need those options later. That's definitely a quality of life thing. But what other things can we get? Yeah. So here is all the stuff we can do with the free stuff. We got locations, current conditions, which is pretty nice. 24-hour historical current conditions might be useful if we wanted to be like, what's the weather typically like? Daily forecast, hourly, indices. Indices. I think indices might actually. Oh, we don't have access to alarms. Good to know. But for indices, let's investigate that. I want to know more about indices. I just need to go log in again. Hang on. API reference. Alrighty. Get daily index value for a specific location. Index value varies by location. By location key. 10-day, return 10 days. So it looks like we can't say based on a specific day. We'll be able to filter that though. Metadata. What's this? What is this? Indices. This is not helpful. Okay. Tell me more about the indices API. That's a cool idea. I've actually never done a chatbot integration, and that's definitely been on my list. So let's see. Chat. What would the chatbot do? What does this do? Hostname, API. Numeric ID to specify the specific index, but to describe the index value, ISOs. I'm so confused. What is indice? Sure. I don't like this site. That is just their Twitter. Will it let me access this without an API key just so I can see what it is? Of course not. Confusing. Well, that is a nice thing, actually. We can indicate what language we might want. So, especially if we want to reach other people who might not typically speak English, that would be a pretty good idea. Ah, that's good. That's something we want to know about. Air quality, your likelihood of asthma based on air pollution. We can actually do some decent research data with this too if we wanted to go in like a full machine learning approach to it. That's so useful. Tennis. What? Fascinating. Tell me more. Weather icons, weather alarm. We can't use weather alarm, which kind of does suck. Oh, I just saw something. Daily index categories and level values. Okay, that's helpful too. Categories and value ranges in table 1 apply to the following things. Interesting. Oh, that's super useful, especially where I live. Poor. Oh my gosh, this is great. Driving, likelihood to be thirsty. Hello, my name is Cecilia and I have frizzy hair. I need this. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is so good. This is so good. I'm so happy to find this. I had no idea that this is what it was going to tell us. Okay, now I want to use it. How do we use it? Mm, API reference, get specific index. Okay, now I understand what we're looking for or looking at. Okay, so now groups ID, specific group of index. I just want the daily index. Let's copy that. Okay, let's adjust this. F get indices. I can't believe it took me a minute to get that, but honestly, makes sense. I don't often look at it, even though I've recently developed allergies. You can tell I've been doing JavaScript for a hot minute. Oh, great. Oh, there's like a format something that I can use, can't I? Mm, there we go. Cool. There should be in quotations. I don't know why they didn't use that in the last one. Maybe they didn't want to use things. Any other ideas for possible integrations? And you never explained to me what it is that we're going to do with those integrations either. Um, Notification key, and then ID is what is ID? ID. Daily index for all indices. Oh, okay, that's it. I don't know what the IDs are, so we only want location. I'm pretty sure it's that. Yep. So here's a question. Will I need an API key for this? Yeah, give me the API key for this. So how did they do it for the forecast? Oh, I see. That's what we needed. We just need to dump this part in. Easy. Um, Location key. API. There's different ways you can also format strings. I prefer this one, to be honest, rather than just plussing everything in. It gets gross and messy when you do that. Alrighty, I'm gonna have this be call that we're making, and then they're using this, which I don't really want to. Import requests. I think I need to also pip install. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's just yeah. Great. Okay. And then just because I want to make sure I call this correctly, where's my API call? It's not in there. Hang on. I think I pull that folder really quick. We did. I want to say it was test. Nope. Shark. There we go. There it is. We just want that. Sometimes I don't really remember what it is I'm supposed to do. It's just easier to. Oops. I've done something. I was here. Oh my goodness. I just want a tab. Thank you. And then, print output. And then we'll sort it out and look at how it ends up getting formatted. Get indices. And then location. Yeah. We already have everything else. Yeah, we're just going to get it for Sacramento. And that should be fine. All right. Oops. Didn't want to install it again. Wanted to call that. And it's not. Typos are fun. Does not like location key because I didn't name it loc. Derp. That everything. Probably not. Yep. Didn't like that. Why you know like key error? Google key error string format. Really? Is it going to be the URLs? Oh, derp. We can just. This is for braces. Hang on. Key error. These are not what we need. URL. My Google Foo is better than this. All right, Python format. Dup, 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 dup. That would be important. Order usually matters. Still doesn't like it. We have our string, and just for giggles, we're going to put it in parentheses. Oh, I must have copied something that it didn't like. Location, is that the same one? They did. One cities location. Okay. This one they did 5/location question mark API key equals. Okay, that part's fine. Any ideas, chat? Doesn't like loc. Why? Go get location. This one returns. Wow, that's a misspelling. Let's go fix that. Because it worked here. What happens that's different here? E1 daily, 1 day, 5 day. The only difference is that we're doing. You see, I prefer using this when it works, but. Is it that I needed 2 brackets? Shouldn't be that. No thoughts from chat. That's okay. Fine. Fine. it the right way. You're not likely to have injection. Apparently that was the wrong thing to ask. Not today. I don't feel like wasting time more. Thanks. So helpful. What did we do? And save that, did we? Oh, stop text. All right. For that. Nothing. Fantastic. All right. Debugger. Oh, this is not going to work the way I wanted. Not what I wanted. I want to run terminal. Debug Python file. We specifically want that file. Okay. Will you run the correct one that I want? Yes. There we go. All right. So you have the call. Go ahead and move to the next thing. What do you return? We didn't print anything. That would explain a lot. But we do have the JSON. So let's go take a look at what's in here. Function variables, JSON, special functions class. This is not what I wanted. Great. Print output. Alrighty. And then let's go ahead and run that again. Have a break on that. All right. Give us the information. Got the headers. Great. Connection. Content. Flight delays? Where are you giving me flight delays? Got the raw object. Data. Empty. And then this is not something we need right now. Text. Okay. It's giving us stuff. It just didn't want to do that originally. Go figure. All right. That is text, right? Oh, it's under raw. That's probably why. No, but we still have the text value. So why is it not printing anything out? Restart. Explain me a thing. Okay. Well, now we have lots of information. All right, let's go fiddle now some more. And we're just gonna I'm assuming that we're iterating through this, but this is nasty to look at. Looks like we have an object. We have many objects. Perfect. Okay. For object in, is it a list? Oh, yeah. So we're going to have to, how did they do it just to make sure? Yeah, they just, would be a good way to sort this out. Well, we'll just try it. Length of output.text. Let's also change this to .text. Let's see if that still works. It should but on the off chance it's still processing the call, we'll have to change that too. And then we change that to, I just want to see what it looks like. We can also stop that, just rerun it. Oh, I didn't want, string object has no attribute text. That's because I forgot that. And while I'm at it, let's remove this text and rerun that. That was the worst idea of my life. All right, given it's giving it a string. Did I import JSON? Yes. I think it's loads from string. JSON dot loads, yeah, because we're loading it from string. Take the output, and we're gonna say textures equals to that. Now for I think we should be able to do this. But it might still yell at us for ranges now. Ah, there we go. Pretty. Where's the top? Oh, interesting. There's like pretty big depth of stuff. I mean, we knew we were getting a lot, but like some of it didn't. Okay, there we go. There's the top. So it looks like we have flight delays. That's pretty useful. Indoor activity, not so much. Running, useful. I go running. So yes, that is important to me. Jogging is interesting. I would put those the same as running, but go figure. Hiking, also really important for me. Bicycling, also important. Golf weather, I guess what we could do is if we were going to put this together for a user, we might give them options about what pieces they want. So like a little, like a long checkbox that they can put in their settings saying like, I want to know information about hiking for New York City. I don't know where in New York City you'd go hiking, but maybe that's something that they are curious about and they want to see what the weather might be like while they're there. So, biking is more likely, tennis, definitely likely, skateboarding, outdoor concert forecast. Ooh, I need that too. I don't know if anybody's in the US who's listening, but I got a chance to go to Red Rocks for a concert about a year ago. Yeah, almost exactly a year ago. Which was super awesome. It was so cold. Oh my gosh. I froze. It was such a good venue though. So good, but so cold. Kite flying, love it. Beach and pool. Awesome, awesome. Sailing, fishing, stargazing. Yes. I have a telescope and I love going stargazing when I finally have time and like I'm awake enough to actually stay up late and go, which of late I really should be going because I haven't been sleeping. Healthy heart fitness forecast. Cool. I really like all these names, so let me go get that information really quick. So we can just get that info up front. Super useful. Cool. Now we have options to give people. Is it going to let me copy it? Yes, it did. Awesome. Go back to our drive file so that way we have, let's see, where was it? Cool. Index prediction forecast options. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of options now that I look at it. Cool. Well, now we have options. Checkbox settings. We want it on a per trip basis, probably, because we wouldn't want to. I guess what we could do is we could have a master like settings of like things that people just aren't going to need or want, and then from that filtered list, they'll get like checkboxes for per trip basis. Because like if I'm going to New York, I don't want to know about hiking, but if I'm going to New York, I do want to know about like biking or running or jogging. But if I'm going to Florida, I want to know about skateboarding and beach and pool. But like I might never. I don't know how to fly a kite. I'm never gonna be kite flying. So that should be like, yeah, master settings is a good idea. Cool. So we have a couple pieces of information now that we've been filling with that API. Super useful. Let's filter. Oh, that's right. So I was Googling about flight cancellations and delays and when you might likely be compensated. The answer is if you're in the US, never. Um, like there's no regulations or federal law or anything that says that an airline should compensate you for things. However, if you are based in the EU and you are taking off from an EU airport, you are subject to the terms and conditions that are EU legislation, and therefore you are potentially eligible for compensation in terms of monetary compensation. That said, there have been where is it? I was looking at something somewhere. Yes. So here is a giant table of where airlines have actually committed to some of the compensations they might offer, particularly for controllable cancellations versus controllable delays, which is super helpful. And all of this has been pulled from like their stuff. I did go looking for an API. I couldn't quite find it. And so we are almost at the hour mark, so this is a great chance to take a break. But I'm going to share this link with you all and challenge you to see if you can find an API in there that I may have missed, because it's very likely I missed it. But yeah, now time for a break because we did a lot of good work in figuring out some pieces that we might want to add to our dashboard. I know it's a bit slow, but that's okay. When you're working with an API for the first time, you always want to figure out like, what am I working with? What data do I have? And how might I integrate it? So part of the like exploring the output of an API is also ideating on what you're going to do with it. You might have an initial understanding of what you're going to do, but you're never actually going to use it that way. So go right ahead and see if you can find an API for that because I definitely couldn't. Slash, I got impatient. And I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break. All right. So we're back. Um, so I mentioned I was setting some stuff up in chat. The answer to that is I was just doing some boring copy paste from that functioning file where we were testing the API, filling with stuff, what do we want, and now I'm just making the functions. So now we're actually going to try and use it. So what that looks like is I ported over the function, cleaned it up because I didn't like the way the other person did it. But that's great. Like everybody has a different way of doing things. We also zoom in. That's what I mean. Like I can't code at this size. Um, but in case we had anybody new join or some people dropped and came back, we were playing with the AccuWeather Weather API and their indices API, which is super helpful if you have allergies or you're wanting to be outdoors. And we're going to integrate that into our app somehow. That part I haven't thought about. We might just play with more APIs and then I'll do integration on the in the in between, so we're not spending forever doing debugging. But yeah, why are you here? For the bugs? Are you giving me bugs? Is this why I can't do anything? Got my eyes on you. All right, but oh, automatic reproduction. Hmm, unfortunate. Anyway, so let's see. Great. So this database stuff is already set up, so we don't have to deal with it. The database will change over time as well, but for now it just holds like blank records um, and IDs. Again, these functions really haven't changed. All I did was clean them up. I like working with JSON, so I jumped them into nice pre-JSONs instead of just parsing it the way the other person did. Um, Once again, like we need to get the location before we can use any of the following like API calls. So I've pretty much duplicated the function. What I would like to do, which would be a lot better, although it does risk injection, is instead of having all these functions for the different types of forecast, that we actually pass in what number forecasts we want in those instances. But for now, for the sake of like testing and making sure we want things the way they are, we can obviously refactor later. Um, I just copy pasted it multiple times and then I'll probably recopy the body a couple times as well. So you can see I didn't do a great job, but we're also going to reformat this output based on what we were looking at. We are using Flask. We're using Flask, Bootstrap. I decided I didn't want to make our lives harder this time around. So I'm using Bootstrap, even though I don't like it. I actually prefer, what's that called? There's a React library that I really, really like using. And I think it's not minimal. I'm gonna forget, or I'm not gonna remember in time, so it's not worth it. But there's a React library that I really like using that's only for React. Material UI, that's what it is. I love that library. It's so good. It's so clean. It's not Bootstrap. Yeah, sorry, my music decided to become not pleasant. Okay, right. So we're reformatting this. So what I really want is not all these words. We can do the words elsewhere. So let's go ahead and so with a 10 day, we'll have for day in forecast. Need to call that. I think we'll probably have to keep that format because I think they did still use some JSON. We're gonna want the day. Yeah, we want that information. So let's parse out what we want, and let me also scroll up actually just to make sure. So in our terminal, is it gonna give us? Is this the wrong? Ah, there we go. Okay. What I wanted to do was look through that past. Oh no, we're not gonna have it. Ugh, darn. What I was wanting to do was look at what other information was in there that we potentially got as an output. I mean, the easy thing is I could just go like run this again. I could do that. But we didn't call that. We called get indices. We don't want that anymore. We want to get forecast. Go ahead and run that really quick because I just want to see what else we're getting. So we're getting temperature, minimum, maximum. We're getting the unit type, also pretty important. And it looks like we're just getting the day, the forecast. icon phrase. That might be actually really useful, especially if we're wanting to use images. But it looks like they have a mobile link. So that one actually might be pretty useful, especially if someone wants to find out more or go to the AccuWeather site for more. Or actually, I think another thing we'll have to put into settings is language. Let me go make a note of that really quick. Um, where is the Google Drive? There it is. Oh yeah. Did anybody figure out the API? I posted a link to the air cancellation delay dashboard for the US. Hoping that somebody might be able to figure out how to get that table so we can use that table. We might need to scrape it, and that's totally fine. But as long as we figure out where the information's coming from, we don't have to scrape it. But if we have to scrape it, I'm doing that not on stream. It's just not worth it. Right, we were gonna make note of what were we gonna make note of? Okay, the mobile link and language. That's what it was. AccuWeather and um, language master settings. Yeah, master settings is fine. Let's go ahead and minimize that, and we go back to app.py. Right. So for day and forecast, we're gonna just create our own miniature dictionary. Do we even? I guess we could just pass the dictionary straight through. Wait, headline, effective date, severity, text. What am I reading? Oh, headline. That's something we could use as well. Come back for headline. Um, Now let's just focus on the daily forecasts. We'll I'll take another look at the what's it called? The headline after stream. I don't want to do that to y'all. But we are going to be pulling that information. So we have daily forecasts. Um, Looking at it, we don't actually need to really. Hmm, we have the unit, we have the value with the minimum unit type 18. What is this unit type 18 here? 18. It never changes. I guess we don't need unit type. So we could process it and provide less information, and therefore there's less data that we're retaining throughout our application. Mm, I really just want a condensed one. So yeah, for now we'll do condensed. We'll do as is because that's okay. All right. And yeah, so we are doing condensed. So we want, and we're gonna need to create our own object. That's right. I want it to be a JSON. Yeah, and then simple forecast. I know I'm not using the right casing. It's supposed to be snake case, but simple day. So this is a list. This is an object. And we can actually create this in here. We don't need that object to be created out there. It's going to be appended to simple forecast. Simple day. And we want the date. We don't handle casing here. That's not good. All right. It looks like they're using day. Date. I'm just going to copy that. Times instead of date. And then we want temperature. And temp. We're going to actually combine this all into one thing. So we don't need F minimum is string day, temperature minimum value. Just do that. Plus And I know that there are definitely people who Celsius, and that is a convert to C for non you based on global splitting later. Because that's when we would pass in the whole object and stuff. Oh, fam, I used to have carpal tunnel. And I've done a lot of things to my arms and pinched nerves, and it's not fun. Take care of your arms. Why is this saying string? We'll leave that as is for now. And then this will be, and then we want maximum value. That's fine. Okay. And then we do want icon phrase. What is icon? Do you want the icon? Day. Oh, wait. Do we get day and night? Oh, that's actually kind of useful to get both day and night. Oh man. How is this sorted? Okay, we're skipping the headline, which ends here. Okay, so we have daily forecast. So within daily forecast, we have the date, the temperature, too deep, right? Yeah. So this is for temperature. Then we have the day. Okay, so that's what they're grabbing from the day. So it looks like they have the okay, so they have day and night, and so this person didn't grab night, and then they have the sources. Got it. Okay, so what we actually need then, icon phrase, and I'm gonna has precipitation false. Has precipitation is kind of important. Is in very important. We want day and we want night, and we want has precipitation. Night. This is more for my notes for right. Um, And then day, it's under day, right? Day, I'm gonna clouds has precipitation. Has precipitation. Precipitate. I didn't copy the right here. Precipitation. Yeah, okay. All right, now let's go fix this. So we have it for the day. That's the temperature, right? Oh, okay. So it includes day and night. All right. Okay, 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 okay. This is why understanding your data is important because now you know how much more you got. And now we can start labeling things the way we want. And so we'll name this day forecast, night forecast. And we need this. Um, I see. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and then same deal, night. I know this is taking a minute just because, like, again, understanding the data, very important. Best to be slow about that. And then simple day. Rain forecast. Mm, the reality is we're probably only going to get through this API today, and that's okay. I'll probably add on a couple more, talk about them tomorrow because we're going to go 2 back-to-back things, and so I want to make sure that, or 2 back-to-back streams. I just can't spell precipitation today. Goodness. Um, where I want to make sure that we have enough to roll with tomorrow. So there'll be some additional work in between, but of course, I mean, I shared the GitHub link earlier. I can reshare that. And we'll come back to that. But let's go test this function before we do anything else. So we're gonna need this, and then let's go back to index. Yes, index. Okay. Forecast. Days forecast. And what do we do? What do we name it? Oh, we have to get look from API. We're gonna leave this here, even though this is bad code. We're leaving it temporarily. We're still using Sacramento. And then forecast equals days forecast. And then let's go ahead and go to our index HTML so we can add in some information about that. Yeah, so this currently renders all the trips. We're going to add another paragraph for now. And we're going to go ahead and pass in forecast. Oh, actually, we're going to want this to be a for loop because we have all those days. So let's go ahead and just copy this, paste there. For day in forecast, day in forecast. We don't want links, but we do want this to end with a HR, and we are going to say for each day, why don't we create a div for it? So div, close div, um, tab, and we're going to say header. Uh, oops, I didn't say that. Header to. What are we doing? Right, we're giving it a title. So date will be here. For those of you who are not familiar, my keyboard is unmarked, so I'm totally doing this off muscle memory. I'm going to typo so hard, so very hard. We want the temperature. Why don't we make these? No, we're just going to format it here. Actually, let's go cheat that. Let's go. No, I don't want to parse that. Let's put this on a different tab though, so that way I can read what we're getting. Where is our app.py? Here's our condensed stuff. Oh, this was supposed to be returned. Always return your data. And I was supposed to add this to simple forecast because we want the object. Derp. Ahead and append. Oops. I think I'm getting confused with Go right now. Simple day. Simple forecast dot append. Yeah, because we want to add the object. Okay. Sorry. I work in Golang sometimes and like they have a different it's so annoying. I mean it works and I get it, and that's how they're doing object appending and what Golang. It's good. It's good for server stuff. But sometimes I get really confused with my languages. Um, I can blame my typos on a lot of things, but usually it's me being a derp. Right. So we have date. So we're gonna want for day, we want the date. And then we're gonna want information. So we want temperature range. We're gonna make that. We want day max and temp to max because at least then it's legible, like readable. I mean, and then we want that, and then day max temp. This is kind of why we optimized, not optimized, simplified it a bit because now we remember like what we're working with, and it's not just like I don't remember the objects in my API call because we want specific things. So we also want to know the rain forecast. And we'll say day, night, and then did they just say true or false? So yeah, we'll leave it at that for now. We can make it human readable or less programming oriented later. I just want to verify like the data because that's kind of important. It should work, but because I've said that, it's not gonna work. So we'll have day, and this is for every day. Oh, that's right. I need to. No, I did that. Okay, cool. The day forecast, we have day min temp, day max temp, day, um, the forecast, day. I'm gonna close that, at that. So we have the rain forecast, we have the temperature. What else did we have for the day? Oh, right. We're gonna need also, let's just copy this, paste that. We don't need the rain forecast, but we do need the general forecast. General forecast. Day. And then what's the code that we use? We use just day forecast. I need to add rain to this. Rain, okay. Day, night, day, rain. Do we have anything else that we wanted to report? No. All right. Let's go back to debug, switch back to our Flask. Go ahead and run that. See if it freaks out. So far, not yet. Let's go find our tab. And we want to go see what happened. Gonna move that over here for a hot sec. All right. What happened? Take 0 positional arguments, but 1 was given because I copied from the other page like a derp. Where is it? Index. We don't need API anymore. Yeah, okay. Let's restart the server. Open up that page. That's the wrong page. Oh my goodness. It still didn't like it. I'm gonna open that new tab. Do that. We're gonna just minimize that window a bit. And we're also gonna move this back over here so we can have some visibility. Can't do this anymore. Okay. Need to see what's next going on. Still not liking key error daily forecasts. What are you finding? Daily okay, so it's not there. It's probably wrapped up high. For daily, is it not there? Thought read decode daily forecast. What does this look like in here? They're just printing the object. Let's see. So clearly that's not. Maybe we can restart the server and have it pause there as it's calling that. Refresh. There we go. Yay, debugger works. This is why you use debugger, because you can see the objects. If you learn nothing from today, nothing from any of my streams, the only thing you should know is how to use the debugger by this point. I've taught so many people how to use the debugger because their schools don't teach it. API authorization failed. Oh, that's a different problem. What do you mean failed? And get it would help if I put no, it should work because I put the same environment. Hang on. It's been using the same environment key. So let me just check the environment key off stream real quick. It's been using the same key. API and get and get. What happened? What does the debugger say? Did I write the key wrong? Just test this really quick off stream. Oh, wait. Did I copy the wrong URL? Alright, let's back this up real quick. Let's back it up. Let's go to get location, restart, and then we're gonna close that tab, and we're gonna go back to did I close the wrong tab? Possibly. Did I move the window over here? Yes, I did. So we're refreshing it. We want it to render. Okay, so it's at this. And we want to step through it. So lovely. I wanted to go into that function. Let's restart that. All right, so we want to go into the function. You're rendering it. Hang on. Yes, that's fine. Great. Render. Go ahead and hit render. Okay. Did we not get the location? Let's go back to get past in location. We didn't. Yeah, that's why we didn't call. We didn't get. Hello. We don't need to pass anything in. Restart that. Go ahead and go through all that. Daily forecast. I did something wrong. Restart. Yes. Not do that. Go ahead and go to the next one. Okay. And then refresh the page. Okay, it's not stopping at the function like I wanted it to. It's still telling me I want you to stop in this function. Go ahead and keep going. Go back to this page. All right. Okay. So we have a key, California. Okay, great. So we're getting information from that. Good. You got the location. Why are you calling it again? Well, at least it's getting there correctly, but it's not getting past this correctly. Why are you freaking out there? What did I derp on? This was supposed to be version 1 daily 10 day. Version 1 daily 10 day. Location key. It should also include the API call, should it not? Let's change this to 5 real quick and see if the same thing happens. Go ahead and hit play. Refresh. Okay. What? Why did you work? What? Hang on. AccuWeather. Log in. I know for sure. We should have been able to get that. So, what happened? Show me API reference. Forecast API. 10 days. Is it not the right URL somehow? 10 days. The only difference 5. Humor me. Does it work in our original one? That works. Should work. I'm getting the forecast. Go ahead and run that. Unauthorized. Why? Do I not have access to it? Is it because I'm getting the free version? Mm, 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 mm. I seriously don't. Okay. All right. Let's go practice and see that the API key works. Because if it doesn't work on their site, then I don't have access to the 10-day forecast. Unauthorized. All right, packages and pricing. Oh, I didn't pay. Got it. Understood. Can I do one day? Yeah, okay, okay. So I can do one day and I can do 5-day, but because I didn't pay for it, I can't do 10-day. Good to know. Rats. Let's go change our stuff now. Um, so sad. Paste that. Why we can't have nice things. Money is so hard. Alrighty. Get 10. There's that to 5. Change to flask. Run the thing. Please, for the love of goodness gracious, give me my data. Okay, what's running? Refresh. Play. Okay, well now we're having issues with other things. Love that. I'm gonna move that over here for now while we debug again. What did you not like? Change the breakpoints now that we've messed around with those. Line 36 and get location. Self-dispatch, dispatch. Line 90 days forecast. And then it froze here. This is why we can't have nice things. I just wanted to integrate data. That's all I ever want. Wow, it's not even what happened. Okay, nothing there. Hmm. Um. Oh, okay. Get file, get location. So we're going and we're getting location. Just do that. Okay. Refresh. All right. And that's what I thought. We've exceeded our number of requests. Uh, alrighty. Classic things in API land. Well, now what? I guess we can scope out everything else and hope it works. See, this is why in Shark Tracker I didn't use the API directly because I didn't want to have this issue happen. I thought we would have enough. How many is it per day? Let me go pull up the thing again. It's something small, which I only intended that it would be called once a day. It's a cron job eventually. 25 calls a day for minute cast. What about daily? Core weather. What does core weather tell us? It doesn't say. I reference general info, terms of use. Nope. Mm, mm. Oh my gosh. Let's just say there's 25 calls a day. We reach 25 calls. Ah, classic. Right. Well, that's annoying. Oh, that's kinda annoying, especially if you have many trips, but I guess at that point I would pay for it, 'cause it would be a full project. Well, what does it give us? It'll just tell us that error. So, I guess the next part would have been to add debug statements to be like, "Ah, yes, if you get, this many API calls received, return none," or something like that. So that way you can just, deal with it not rendering or pull some, like, of the most recent data that it may have collected. But since we are at 20 till, I think it's time to start wrapping up. And we did a decent amount today, honestly. Like, what I'm gonna do, is let me also save everything and push it all. And commit. Can't read what I'm typing. Wow, yeah, no, I typed it that hard. Um, whether API integration. Right. So stuff is pushed. We made some decent progress in terms of indices and in terms of weather forecasting. We came up with some features, and then we have some potential integrations to consider. Somebody in chat suggested a chat bot. Still not sure what the chat bot would do, but would love to hear more about that in the next stream. So that'll be tomorrow in the morning, actually, like way earlier than today. And let me also get that check-in link just one more time. If you haven't already checked in, go right ahead and check in. Thanks for joining. Um, yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. I think tomorrow, the first stream, because it's two streams tomorrow, there's one in the morning and there's one in the afternoon for if you're US time. I guess it would be around noonish if you're East Coast time for the first one. But yeah, so we'll probably be working on flight info tomorrow is my expectation. What I'm gonna do overnight / into tomorrow morning if I have the bandwidth, because I do still have homework that's due tonight. Yeah, I'm taking a short session class that has due dates all the time. But we'll be doing flight stuff. I'll be working on the UI stuff and integrating like checkboxes and stuff for settings, and then hopefully sprucing up a little more of the connections. Yeah. And then we'll see how tomorrow goes. And then because we have those two streams tomorrow, we'll be rushing right into things. So I'll try and prep some other stuff more than just flight APIs. Maybe some Auth0 or some integration of like address books, especially if you use Google. I don't know if iPhone or iOS has libraries I could maybe pull from. Or maybe getting like location data using Google accounts. That might be interesting. So there's a couple options we can do. Yeah, thanks so much for joining and have a good rest of your day. Whether it's morning or evening, good morning, good night. Yeah, see y'all tomorrow.